Let's talk about regional inequality. How has regional inequality changed or worsened in recent decades in the UK?
If we go back to the 1960s and 70s, we had one of our lowest ever levels of regional inequality then. In fact, there were a few years in the 1970s when the population centre of the UK was moving northwards. The city of Sheffield had a higher life expectancy than all of England. So we were quite equal back then in the 1960s and 70s. But since the 80s, our regional inequalities have grown and grown and grown. London became more affluent areas, less so. Deindustrialisation spread. So now we have the largest regional inequalities in all of Europe. The second largest used to be in Germany, but Germany with reunification did a huge amount of work to make Germany a normal European country by regional inequalities. So we stand out by a country mile. The gaps between the different parts of the UK are the biggest gaps of any country within Europe.
And what's so striking, not only is the size of the gap, but the fact that many other countries have improved on this score in the last 40 years. But as you say, Britain has actually gone backwards. It's actually gotten worse in terms of regional inequality, partly because of the rise of finance in London and the decline of manufacturing elsewhere. It is important to note, though, isn't it, Professor Dorling, that inequality within regions that are affluent, London, parts of Yorkshire, the South West, for instance, there are still pockets of terrible deprivation even within affluent areas.
Oh yeah, I mean, London has still the largest mass of poverty in the UK, despite being economically the most successful part of the UK. Every one of our cities has an incredible inequality gradient. We are the most unequal country in Europe individually, so our Gini coefficient of income inequality is the highest in Europe, give or take Bulgaria. And it used to be, when I was a child in the 70s, we were on a par with Sweden. So we've gone from being a relatively equitable country to being the most unequal in all of Europe, individually and within our cities as well as regional.
It's so interesting. What has your research showed about the way in which people are coming to sort of accept this reality, not be resigned to it, just recognise its severity?
It's been such a long time now that, you have to be my age. I'm in my late 50s to remember a country which wasn't like this. So in a sense, we've become used to this kind of inequality. We don't realise it's odd when you compare us to Europe, but it does make us angry, it does make us depressed, it does make us anxious. And there was a weak international correlation between inequality and voting for the far right. So the United States is more unequal than us, and it elected Trump twice. European countries tend not to elect political parties as far to the right as we do. Our Conservative Party left the Conservative bloc in 2014 and allied with Alternative for Deutschland. So all our politics has moved more to the right as we've become more divided and more unequal.
What's your sense and what's your judgment about what this means for the Labour Party and the Labour movement?
The Labour Party has to work out what it actually wants. It's really interesting listening to the news today because it either aligns itself with policies that Reform pushes forward about anti-immigration and so on, or it moves the way that Sadiq Khan was talking about today and actually offers an alternative to the status quo. And ironically, now suggesting to rejoin in some ways with Europe would be an alternative to the status quo. And the status quo is not good for most people. We have the highest increase in child poverty in all of Europe. We have real problems out there. So saying we're going to carry on as we are isn't a political message that really helps people very much, and it doesn't tend to get you votes. You have to offer real, substantial change in a situation like this.
Professor Danny Dorling, thank you very much.